there was nothing good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. The doctor was saying that he thought it'd be a good idea if I did it because it would help me lower my...
Your A1C?
Yeah. And it was like the worst flu you had. And that's when I was talking to the doctor about it. When I called him, he said, that's the Ozempic doing that. It wasn't worth it to me.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm here today with Janet. Janet was on Ozempic for 3 months, and she's going to share her story. So Janet, we've talked a little bit before about your experience on Ozempic. Mm-hmm. Would you mind sharing with our listeners and watchers what you went through?
I started because I'm a type 2 diabetic, and the doctor was saying that he thought it'd be a good idea if I did it because it would help me lower my my numbers.
Your A1C?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I started taking it, or it's a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I started it, and I was like, I was a good week into it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why do I don't feel good. Mm-hmm. And it was like the worst flu you had. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is weird. No appetite whatsoever.
You had mentioned that. So you could barely eat anything, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to eat anything. I was just like, okay, well, I figured it out. It was the shot. Mm-hmm. And I talked to my husband about it, and he's like, well, you got to figure out if it's worth it. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, I weighed myself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll try it another week and see what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Because I had lost like 10 pounds. And I thought, sweet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, if I lose 10 pounds in a week, I wonder if I'm really going to keep this off. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of started forcing myself to eat small meals. Mm-hmm. Didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work?
It made you sick.
So let me just get this straight. So at first, you hardly had any appetite at all.
Right.
How much were you eating at the beginning?
I was just eating like my normal, breakfast, mm-hmm. snack for lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. It was, wasn't very much. Mm-hmm. But you had to make yourself do it because you have no appetite.
So if you were left to your own devices on Ozempic, you wouldn't have eaten at all?
No, you wouldn't.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. So you were on it for a week and you lost 10 pounds. So tell me about what happened after that.
Well, it was probably, I don't know if it was a week that I'd lost the 10. Mm-hmm. I think it might have been, I was on a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. But it was, there was nothing good about it. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Mm-hmm. My numbers, they didn't really do anything. No. Okay. And that's when I was talking to the doctor about it. When I called him, he said, that's the Ozempic doing that.
So back to your doctor, Janet, what was your doctor's take on the whole thing?
He told me to go off of it. Mm-hmm. He said it's not worth it. We'll just find another way for you to do it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I was a little hesitant about going off of it because of the weight. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah. Janet, do you know anyone else who's been on it?
I know a lot of people that have been on it. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that scares me because it's like they've lost 60, 80 pounds. Mm-hmm. What are they going to do when they go off?
Probably gain it back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow. I mean, they look nice.
Yeah.
But, I would not want to be in their shoes.
Mm-hmm. Janet, so the people in your life that you know who have been on it or are currently on it, are there any other horror stories that you've heard?
Not in my family.
Okay.
No. Because you just kind of, once they were talking to me, they're like, oh, never mind. We don't want to do that. But, mm-hmm. I know, some of the acquaintances mm-hmm. that have done it, and they're like, how do I want to come off of it? but they like the weight loss. And they're afraid that they're going to gain it all back.
Right, so they're staying on it for that reason. Interesting. Interesting. So basically what you're saying is you've been able to be a deterrent for some of the people that you know
Yeah.
who are considering taking it because of your experience.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of like a catch-22 because, they say, oh, you need to, take it to the legal action or whatever. Nobody wants to touch it.
Right,
Because they're still selling it.
Right, exactly. Janet, is there one thing that you would like to share with our viewers about Ozempic? Like a takeaway, you're basically, it didn't work for you, and you weren't interested in staying on it. Is there something you would like our viewers to know that they may not necessarily know about Ozempic unless they took it themselves?
I would just really, really beware and be careful if you start not feeling well, maybe rethink being on it. That's all. I mean, it's kind of a scary thing.
Yeah. And you had mentioned to me, Janet, before that you are going to be taking Mounjaro instead.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. But it's just the fact now that you have to wait because it's hard to get a hold of.
Okay.
What is Mounjaro?
So Mounjaro is similar to Ozempic, same class of drugs. Tell me if I'm correct in this, Janet. I believe what happened was they created it because you couldn't get Ozempic unless you were a type 2 diabetic like Janet. But what it sounds like with Mounjaro is the same thing that happened with Ozempic, that so many people started being prescribed for it that there was a shortage. And it sounds like there's a shortage of Mounjaro right now.
And they say that, like, if you really want to get it, to go to,
Mexico?
Yeah.
So what's the latest? Like, what has your doctor told you? That it's just a holdup that you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. That, he has prescribed it. It's there. Just have to wait for it to come in.
Wow.
And this has been months. I mean, it would be nice to have it for, for my numbers and stuff.
Right. Janet, how long were you on Ozempic for in total?
For total, I was on it for about 4 months.
Okay. Were the symptoms consistent? Did they change over time? No.
Nope, same thing. It was just like a constant, flu.
So it was like having the flu for 4 months?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awful. And how much weight did you lose total?
I think I ended up with 30 pounds.
Okay. Did it stay off or did it?
I want to say maybe 15 pounds stayed off. And I mean, it's a constant struggle.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers about living with diabetes that, like, the average person may not know?
Yeah, that something new to me is I just found out that if you have, type 2 diabetes, you can go back and have type 1.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going how you can do that.
How is
You're
that
supposed to have
possible?
type 1 when you're a kid. Your pancreas no longer works.
And type 2 you get old when you're older, right? Because that's what my father had.
And but
older
your
onset.
pancreas still works.
Okay, so type 1, your pancreas doesn't work.
Right.
Type 2, your pancreas does work. So they're saying if you have type 2, which is adult onset, right? That you could, then your pancreas could stop working?
I guess, yeah, that's what they're telling me.
Who told you that?
My doctor.
Jeez.
My endocrinologist. And I'm like, well, I have my own opinion on it.
What's that? If you don't mind sharing your own
I
opinion.
don't think they quite get it.
What
The whole diabetes thing.
Tell me about that.
Because they don't, none of the doctors, I mean, you have to go to such a specialist in the field, and they just don't quite
Get it?
get it.
Do you think it's because they don't have it themselves? Okay. So,
Yeah.
so they're trying to make all these diagnoses and decisions based on not having firsthand experience.
Yeah, and then they tell you that, that you have to do the carb thing, which you've already done. It's like a carb diet. you've already done that. And they're like, well, what is it? And I'm like, oh, you have to explain it to them.
Tell me more about the carb diet. Does that mean like hardly any carbs?
No, and actually it's kind of the opposite because it's like they give you like a sheet of paper with everything you can eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then it's like you can have like so many carbs per meal. It's really quite a bit.
Oh,
I don't
so
eat that
you're
much.
not carb deprived?
No.
Okay.
I don't eat that much. And I knew that potato chips, my favorite fans in the whole world, and dip are not my favorite fans. I was like, dude. Like potatoes, they're okay. It's the stuff that you don't think that is not bad. And it makes no sense.
Okay, so tell me more about that. Will you repeat what you just said?
So it's like the carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can have 80 carbs at each meal.
Okay.
Okay, and it depends on what you eat. Like vegetables, fruit. Fruit's kind of, because it has a, what do you call it? It has a natural sugar in it. So if you eat a whole apple, you're eating a little bit of sugar.
Fructose.
No.
It's not fructose.
It's just real sugar.
Oh.
Because the fruit has it in it.
Okay, so what you're saying is, so fruits and vegetables are carbs, but they're not starchy carbs.
No.
So is it starchy carbs that you have to limit?
Because it sticks. The starch sticks to your inside.
Your intestines. Okay.
Well, yeah, it would stick to like your pancreas and all that stuff.
Oh.
And that's what the insulin goes in, and it gets rid of it.
Okay, so you're saying something about the carb intake. It's not what you would think.
No, I mean the food.
Yeah.
It's like you would think that, like that fruit would be
Bad.
okay to eat. Yeah, bad.
Right.
It's okay.
Okay. So you
But-
can have fruit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't eat a whole apple,
Oh, okay.
and that surprised me because of the sugar in it.
Wait, you can't have a whole
No.
apple. How much you have?
I have a half.
Okay. Okay.
But-
And then what are the what does the vegetable intake look like?
Like asparagus and
Broccoli.
broccoli and green beans, cauliflower. They're good, and you can have like cup, 10 asparagus.
Can you have any starchy carbs or no? No.
No, they don't want you to. I mean, I guess you can, but
Okay. It's not part of the program. Okay. And what's this diet or plan called? It's called the carb diet?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what it
Okay.
is.
And which doctor put you on it?
I'm my endocrinologist.
Okay. Interesting. You know, it's interesting. My father, when he was 90, and he was diabetic, his endocrinologist suggested he become vegan. So he became vegan at 90. And it turned his numbers around, and I do think it extended his life a bit. I don't know how,
Yeah.
by how long, but I think it extended his life possibly like 5 or 6, even 7 months, just doing that. But I mean, I gave him a lot of credit. I mean, that's a huge lifestyle change.
Yeah. I wonder if it would be, because if you go vegan,
Plant-based, no meat, no dairy.
No eggs, no fish.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Vegan means no animal products whatsoever. So nothing from an animal is strict vegan.
oh,
So just plant-based.
Yeah, it's a plant-based diet.
okay, so maybe that wouldn't work for me. No.
It's a pretty extreme lifestyle change for some people.
Oh, there's the other diet too. It's called the carnivore diet.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that.
I've never tried it, but I have like 4 friends that have been on it, and they say it's okay.
So the carnivore diet is a suggested.
It's not recommended by my endocrinologist.
Oh.
It's just I've got about 3 or 4 friends that are on it.
Oh, so you just word of mouth, you've heard
Yeah,
about it. Okay.
and it's just all you can have is like I'm thinking it's meat and eggs and
Saturated fat is okay as long as it's, from a natural source and things like that. I've heard of people who kind of went keto that they discovered carnivore.
yep.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's kind of like well, it's similar in that it's no carbs.
okay.
So it's all, but you're going heavy on the meat, whereas keto, you're not really supposed to go heavy on the meat, like too much. I think the other thing is they keep talking about insulin resistance. Do you know anything about that?
Janet probably does.
That insulin resistant would be that you're just what it is. You're resistant to the insulin they put you on. It doesn't work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't know of anybody that has that one.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Janet, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for watching this incredible story. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Until next time, be well.